all of the interview footage lined up on the timeline. This is often called a radio edit. Then a rough cut is all of your B-roll assembly, all of your A-roll assembly plus B-roll, and that's the phase that we're going to be working on today. A fine cut is assembly plus B-roll refined. That's when you trim your clips and you make it shorter and more precise. Then a final cut is a fine cut is, no, I just said that. A final cut is a refined version of the fine cut. So that's when everything is done, titles, A-roll, B-roll, everything is trimmed. And we're probably not going to be getting to a final cut in this class, but maybe like a fine or rough cut. Okay.
What was the stage before fine cut? Was it radio?
It's the rough cut. And an assembly, which we just did, is called a radio edit. And it's called a radio edit because typically when we're using interview footage, we are really getting it on the timeline because we want to use that audio from the interview footage. So you know how right here, Carlos will be...
Really the final community. Yeah, I mean, Cortelli Road, Brooklyn. I believe.
So he's talking about Cortelli Road in the interview. See if I turn the eye off here. So we see it's actually interview footage.
Really the final community. Yeah, I mean.
But there's B-roll on top of it. So when he's talking about Cortelli Road,
really
the visuals are him walking on Cortelli Road. So that's typically how B-roll functions. I know we talked about, well, this is important to remember. This tool right here, when I hover over it, it's called the selection tool. This is what you always, just like Photoshop, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Photoshop, but you have to always be clicking in between your tools to work with them. So if you want to move something on the timeline manually, you would use this selection tool. You use it to highlight clips you want to work with. So if I want to work with this clip, I would highlight it before I select my ripple edit tool. So I talked a little bit about trimming and ripple editing last class. Just to quickly review that. To trim a clip, you want to hover over it so that this red arrow shows up. And then you would either bring the clip backward or forward. If there's another clip next to it, you can't bring it forward. So you would bring it to the left to trim. And you see it creates that space right there. You might want to do that because you might want to insert another clip in that space. You can delete it by clicking with the selection tool and highlighting the space and clicking and pressing delete on your keyboard, and you can delete it that way. Alternately, to avoid that altogether, you can use this ripple edit tool, which looks like the two arrows facing different directions. And this will move everything together on the timeline. The razor tool right here, this is what you would use if you already had a clip on the timeline, but there's a specific tiny section you want to cut out in the middle of the clip. You would click the razor tool and see it creates this cut. You would click it at the beginning of the section that you want to eliminate, and then again at the end of the section you want to eliminate. And then you would just highlight that clip that you want to get rid of right there with the selection tool, and then press delete on your keyboard.
Okay.
So the razor tool is not, you have to zoom in a lot on your clip to make sure that you're getting exactly that section that you want to get rid of. And then you would delete that, and then you would delete the gap.
Question.
Mhm.
If you razor within a certain part, whether it's a word or whatever part you want to correct, could you add during that part? I mean, like trimming is like usually at the end of it. Could you end a video or something like that within that area as well?
So are you asking if you can trim inside a clip instead of at the end or the beginning?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
only trim and ripple edit the end of the beginning of a clip.
Okay.
So the razor tool you would use if you wanted to get rid of a section within the clip.
Within the clip, all right.